So here I've opened JWT.io. And on this page, you can learn more about JWT and its support on various client-side or server-side frameworks. Now on this page, we have a debugger. Here on the left side, under Encoded tab, you can see an example of a JSON web token. This is the string that we generate on the server when we validate the user's username and password, return it to the client, and the client will send it to the server for subsequent API calls. Now look at the color coding here. This string has three parts. The first part is red, and that's the header of our JSON web token. The second part is the payload, which is purple, and the third part is the signature that I told you about. Now, as I mentioned before, this string is encoded using base64 algorithm. So if we decode it, this is what we're going to get. For the header, you see we have a JSON object. It has two properties, alg or algorithm, and type, which is set to JWT. And this is pretty much standard. Now below that, we've got payload. And this is the part that we're interested in on the server. So here we can have user's ID, user's name, their roles, and so on. So you can see this user, John Doe, is set to an admin. Now after this payload, we have our digital signature. So if a hacker wants to modify the content of the payload, for example, if they want to set the admin for their own account to true, they need to create a new digital signature. Let's see how that works. So first we get the header, encode it using base64 algorithm, then we append a period. After that, we add the payload, again encoded using base64 algorithm. And look, next we have a secret. So this secret is only available on the server. Now basically we concatenate these three strings and then pass it to this function for encryption. And here we're using HMAC SHA-256 algorithm. Then we get the output of this function and encode it using base64 algorithm. And the result will be this blue part here. So this is the structure of a JSON web token. Now, in order to use this for authentication and authorization on the client and on the server, we need to be able to work with this JWT both on the client and on the server. As you can imagine, writing code to generate or validate or extract information from a JWT is pretty tedious. We don't want to repeat this in every project. That's where Auth0 service comes into the picture. So with Auth0, we get all the infrastructure we need, both for our client-side apps as well as our server-side APIs to implement authentication and authorization using this technology. And that's the topic for the next lecture.